Yeah, a change of format, but we're sticking with cricket for this segment of the SportsMax Zone now. A magnificent all-round performance from captain Hayley Matthews guided the West Indies to a 9-wicket victory over visitors Bangladesh in the first one-day international at Warner Park in St. Kitts and Nevis on Sunday. Having been sent to bat, the Bangladeshis managed to lay a sturdy foundation thanks to two useful partnerships involving Sharmin Akhtar, who top scored with 42. The right-hander first shared in a 44-run second-wicket stand with opener Murshida Khatun before putting on 46 with captain Nigar Sultana Joy for the third. The Caribbean side were, however, able to regain control of the innings in the middle overs through the spin of Matthews, 2 for 41, and Afi Fletcher, 1 for 32, before Deandra Dottin, who led the Windies bowlers with figures of 3 for 40, returned to clean up the tail, restricting Bangladesh to 198 for 9 in their 50 overs. West Indies' chase of 199 got off to a quiet start before player of the match Matthews latched on to Sanjida Akhtar Megla in the 6th over, cutting 4 fours from the spinners. First over, the Windies captain took the charge to Bangladesh until Qiana Joseph, the powerful left-hander, joined the party. Both openers completed their individual 50s before Joseph eventually fell for a career best score of 70. Matthews, however, went on to hunt history, notching her 8th 100 in ODI cricket, 104 not out, to surpass the great Stephanie Taylor for the most centuries for the Maroon Warriors in the format. Befittingly, the newly crowned Matthews would then thrash Rabea Khan over cover for the winning runs of her next ball, carrying the home side to a comfortable victory at 202 for 1 in 31.4 overs. Now, more than personal achievements, Matthews says the West Indies are keen to take advantage of this series as it is the only source of competition ahead of the World Cup qualifiers.
We've obviously got World Cup qualifiers coming up, which is going to be super important, and this is the only ODI series that we do have before it. So this is, I think, really good warm-up, really good practice for us and really good preparation. So yeah, I think like tonight, once we can use it well, we'll be in good stead for the qualifiers.
Yeah, cricket commentator Nikhil Uttam-Chandani joins us to assess the dominant display from the West Indies women. Nikhil, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. I wonder where in the world you are these days. I was listening out for you on commentary yesterday and I didn't hear you, but I hear you're traveling.
Yeah, I would tell you what, Ricardo, I would love to be in Jamaica, but I'll be back soon. Really took a liking to Jamaica in my trip when I came to see you guys, and I think it's my first zone of the year, so I'm very happy to be back.
Yeah, I heard why you liked Jamaica, but anyhow, we're not getting into that. Let's talk about the West Indies women and their brilliant performance yesterday. Assess the effort for us, Nikhil.
Yeah, Ricardo, I think the West Indies women deserve a lot of credit. Let's not forget that, you know, it's a team that doesn't play a lot of one-day international cricket. I know they come off of the series against India, where we were critical of, or certainly I was critical of, a lack of patience, a bit of complacency. And I think the biggest thing that jumped out to me was just to see a bit more patience in the adverse times and situations during the game. I could see a greater intent and emphasis being placed on just remaining patient, at times holding their length when they got off to that slow start, the openers, remaining patient and being very watchful and cautious and selective in terms of the deliveries that they attack. So I think all in all, a quality performance. Again, I think winning is important. As we always say, winning is a habit. I do think of a slightly better team will challenge the West Indies women a bit more, but you have to play what's in front of you, and you want to develop that confidence of winning and winning comprehensively like they did.
Yeah, I want you to assess the bowling performance, because against India, we went for a lot of runs, and there was concern about having wicket takers, especially in the team. But yesterday, especially in those middle overs, the Caribbean women were able to contain Bangladesh. Is that an improvement, or is it just a result of a team that is not as good as the team that we faced a month or so ago?
I think a better team would have put more pressure on the West Indies, but you cannot discount the effort of Bangladesh being 113 for 2 after 30 overs and then only getting to 198. I thought the way Afi Fletcher controlled things in the middle overs, I think she went for 32 runs in 10. supported by Matthews and Ramara, and then the way at the back end, Dottin and Aline bowled in tandem. I think Aliyah Aline has shown she's got the raw materials and ingredients in both white ball formats to execute at the back end, and I'm hoping that she continues to be back because she can nail her Yorkers. She goes pace off into the pitch well, and it was hard to score against her coming onto the back end. So I do think they deserve credit for that. However, I would like to see if that holding of length we saw with the new ball will be consistent if you play a team like England, Australia or India, who will continuously come at you and try to hit your good deliveries to the boundary.
Yeah, it's something, Nikhil, that I'm also looking forward to see, you know, when they match up against some top-class opponents. I want to talk a bit, though, about Qiana Joseph and just how she went about her innings. Qiana has been making the headlines, and it's for only good things as of recently when it comes to, you know, the maturity that she went about this innings, you know, supporting her skipper, Hayley Matthews, and, of course, on the way to getting her first ODI half-century. So good stuff from her. And I think looking at Qiana, I've really enjoyed watching her grow up in front of our eyes, because from when Qiana started to those reckless shots to now Qiana really supporting her skipper.
I think Qiana Joseph is a player that's evolving, Mariah. I keep saying it every time I come onto the zone. She could be a West Indian woman superstar. What we saw from her in that innings, and it was a slow start. And when I saw her begin that slowly, 13 off 28, I thought to myself, this could either go to one of two ways. She could hit herself out of trouble, or she could get out. And I do think two things played a big factor in this, not having Hayley Matthews at the other end, who would have spoken to her, who would have guided her through that tougher period, but also probably Bangladesh's weakened bowling attack to not put as much pressure on her. However, I will give her immense credit in her offside game. I think there are more deliveries now that I'm seeing outside off stump or just on the off stump line that she's now hitting straight down the ground over the bowler's head. And she even played, I think, one or two cut shots through the offside that was really impressive to see her open up that side of her game. Obviously, against a better team, they may not give her as many boundary scoring opportunities. So in that first 28 balls where boundary scoring is tough, we all would like to see her rotate, strike a bit more, bat with a bit more precision. But in the space of 3 months, her batting in both white ball formats is evolving. I still would deep down inside like to see her maybe bowling a couple overs, as I think she can be a real asset with ball in hand. But in terms of Qiana Joseph, the batter, it is a huge asset for the West Indies if she can continue improving on her offside game and her running between the wickets.
And speaking about asset, this discussion will be incomplete if we don't speak about Hayley Matthews. We always have to speak about her because I really believe this in my heart. Once Hayley has a good game, the West Indies are going to win.
Yeah, Mariah, it's unbelievable, really. 600s now against different nations in ODI cricket. I think it's only Australia, Sri Lanka, and England she doesn't have 100 against. And I'm sure that will change by the end of her career. Just the consistency, man. I mean, the way that she's gone about her body of work in international cricket, I'm extremely excited to see her play Test cricket because I think she can dominate that as well. But this is a phenomenon in West Indies cricket. Forget men and women. She is a West Indian phenomenon, and we are blessed and privileged to have her in front of our eyes. Everyone was worried when she came onto the scene at a young age and was given so much responsibility, was given captaincy to see how it may impact her. But she has really embraced the responsibility so beautifully. And to be honest, I think the extra responsibility has made her into a better player. She's now finishing games and making sure she gets to the end and coming not out. I know that was a big part of her wants and desires 2 years ago. And I think she's right up there with one of the best in the world. And I would argue, and maybe I'm biased, but if I was beginning making an 11 today, I think Hayley Matthews would be the first name in my 11 in world cricket.
Yeah, and we just looked at the stats there, Nick, regarding her 8th ODI 100, surpassing Stefanie Taylor as the most prolific century maker in ODI cricket, having played just over half the number of games that Stefanie Taylor has played. Still below Stefanie's overall batting average and significantly fewer half-centuries than Stefanie. But I think that statistic tells you about her hunger for runs and how well she's been playing for sure. I want to ask you this, though, because we've been lamenting the fact that they haven't, the West Indies women, qualified automatically for the World Cup. But given the fact that they don't play maybe enough ODIs, could it be that the qualifying series will actually be a benefit for them, giving them some more game time
and opportunities to get their game right for the World Cup?
I think you could look at it in two ways, Lance. No team ever likes to go to a qualifying tournament. Just ask the West Indies in 2023 when they went to Zimbabwe. I mean, it's immense pressure. And for a team like the West Indies, there'll be an expectation to qualify for sure. They'll probably be the favorite to qualify. And you just never know in this game of cricket, and this in an experienced side after maybe that top order. So from that angle, I think it's probably not a benefit. However, yes, in your sense, you look at the fact that, they were blown away in the Sri Lanka series, they were blown away in the Indies ODIs. It is a benefit to play more 50-over cricket and just occupy the crease for longer periods of time. I think batters, even at the domestic level, you see in our Super 50, the women's tournament regionally, rarely do teams bat a full 50 overs. So just getting into that habit of understanding that there's a lot of time to bat. Obviously, none of the batters got an opportunity in this game other than Shemaine Campbell and the two openers. But I just think the more the Mandy Mangroves and the obviously Dottins and the others that are in that batting lineup have the opportunity to spend time at the crease, it's only going to help them improve. So hopefully it will work as a sort of boost and a morale boost going into that major tournament. But you have to qualify. And these teams at the World Cup qualifiers tend to come in with nothing to lose and a lot to gain. And it can put the big, quote-unquote, big teams under serious pressure.
Yeah, but you said it at the start, and I agree with you. I think they would be favourites for the qualifying. And I would bet that the West Indies will go through the qualifying successfully. So I will stick with my view that I think the additional games will actually benefit them.
All right, fair enough, Lance. And Nigeria under 19 beat New Zealand under 19 today.
I saw that.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I saw that. That was absolutely shocking and disappointment for the West Indies under 19s who started poorly but have an opportunity to play a little bit better tonight. Having said that, does that start for the under 19s at the Malaysia World Cup worry you? If you look at that and think about the future of the West Indies women's game?
Not really worried, because I think the Indian cricketers have so much more exposure than the West Indians, unfortunately, when it comes to the age group level. I think why I'm not worried is because I believe it's 3 out of 4 going on to the next round. And I do think it will serve as a wake-up call. I actually think it's better to get this game out the way early. So it almost serves as a wake-up call immediately for that West Indies team to understand the level that they need to be at to compete. But I think regardless of however they finish, the opportunities and experiences that this team will have at that World Cup will help so many of this personnel to, when they get into the senior team, be a lot more ready than some of the younger talent we've brought into the team. I think it's a great initiative by the ICC, and it's only going to benefit world cricket as a whole. So I do hope they can get into the next round and then, of course, compete and hopefully get to the semis and final. But even if they don't, I think the added matches at that level against quality opposition will do a world of good.
Yeah, 44 all out doesn't worry you, Nikhil?
It's against India, Ricardo. Just give them a chance. It's only been one game.
Against anybody.
Ricardo, I'm sure you have to go to a break soon.
We do, actually. Gerard says it's time to go to a break. Anyhow, yeah, Nikhil, take care, and we'll chat again soon. Maybe after the next game.
I'll see you soon, my friend. Maybe in person. I'll see you soon.
In Jamaica, right?
I'm thinking so, man. What a place.
Yeah, I heard he had a great
The Jam Rock.
The last time he was here. Yeah. A really, really good time. Can't begin to tell you. Let's go to a break.